Hey everyone. So I hope all of you are doing good. So guys, in last lecture, we have done the complete theory of the decision making, and I told you guys that from next lecture we'll start understanding the important concept related to decision making. I can say all the implementation of decision making and all the questions which could be there in your exam, related to decision making. So what type of decision could be there, like question on what type of decision can be asked in the exam. So we'll ask all such scenarios. So let's start with this topic. And I hope this is the most important topic of the decision making chapter. I think it would take me around probably 6 to 7 lectures of 1 hour each, I can say, to complete the topic of decision making. So I can say from this lecture onwards, we are starting the main concept of decision making, like what type of decisions can be there. So like there used to be 6 type of decision mainly, which would be there in your exam. I could say 7 type of decision, not six, but 7 type of decision. But we'll read 6 type of decision together and one decision separately. So let's start with that. I'm sharing my screen just a second. I hope you are able to see the screen. So guys, we are doing the decision. Just a second. So basically, we are doing the decision making. Just a second. Hold. So guys, usually there used to be 6 type of decision. Mostly 6 type of decisions used to be there. What 6 type of decisions used to be there? The first is the outsourcing decision. Outsourcing decision. So what is basically outsourcing decision? So guys, outsourcing decision used to be, as the name suggests, whether we should make the product on our own or we should outsource it to someone else. Now, why one would be willing to outsource some product rather than making it on your own? So if you remember, I gave an example of calculator and mobile phone to you guys in the last lecture that I am having the factory of making the mobile phone and I got an order to manufacture the calculator. Okay. Suppose that the charges, the revenue which is offered for me for making the calculator is suppose 100 rupee per calculator. Okay. And the variable cost for me to make the calculator would be 70 rupees. But I need to buy one specific machinery for the purpose of making the calculator. Okay. And that machine would cost me somewhere 3 lakh rupee and I will get only 1 lakh rupee out of the resale of the machinery. Okay. So basically, I'm analyzing and I found that making the calculator on my own would be uh, a loss for me. Okay. So I think after analyzing the things that it would not be beneficial for me to make the calculator. Then since I am having since I am having the factory of manufacturing the mobiles, so I am having good reputation in the market. I know many of the businesses and business people related to electronic item in the market. Okay, and suppose one of my friend, he make the calculator and he offered me that I would be able to make the calculator at rupees 90 for you. Okay, so if the person is able to make calculator at the rate 90, I am getting 100 rupee from the customer to make the calculator. I am getting somewhere 10 rupee revenue out of it. So here in this scenario, outsourcing is better than making it on my own. So that's how the situation would be in the question whether you should make it on your own or you should outsource it to somewhere else. Okay, so first type of decision is outsourcing decision. The second decision would be like in the question, the second type of decision could be sale or further processing decision. Now, what is sale and further processing decision? Suppose the best example can be said as the example of milk and paneer. Okay, so what used to happen, like paneer is made out of the milk only. Okay, so I need to take the decision whether I should sell milk or I should sell paneer, or I can sell curd or buttermilk or whatever the things are. So I need to take decision whether I should sell milk as a raw milk or I should further process it and make curd, paneer and other things and should sell that. So that decision would be sale and further processing decision. So I would somewhere analyze all the further processing cost. I would analyze the revenue after the further processing of something. Okay, what would be my revenue, whether I'm getting incremental revenue or lesser revenue. If I'm getting incremental revenue, I should further process it. If I'm getting less revenue, I should sell it in the raw form. So this type of decision, I'm actually briefly analyzing the things just to start the concept, because this concept is really important. I told you in the last lecture as well that we are starting decision maker typically from here. Okay, so two type of decision we have done: outsourcing decision, sale and further processing decision. The third type of decision could be keep and drop decision. Now, what is keep and drop decision? So the keep and drop decision is like, suppose I'm having some business unit, or I'm making three products, whether I should continue with all three, or I should discontinue some specific just because I'm getting loss out of it. So this decision would be keep or drop decision, whether I should keep everything which I'm having or I should drop certain specific thing just because I am not able to make good in that. So this type of decision would also be very good decision. The fourth decision is minimum pricing decision. Minimum pricing decision. So minimum pricing decision, as the name suggests, is what should be the minimum price for the product. So suppose I'll take the variable cost and relevant fixed cost in the minimum pricing. I hope you guys know what is the relevant fixed cost. Okay, like we have discussed in the last lecture as well, what is relevant cost and what is irrelevant cost and what would be the relevant fixed cost. So we have discussed all these things. So the next decision would be spatial order decision. Spatial order decision. So this would be the easiest one. And I think I should start with this decision only, the spatial order decision. Like I'm getting some spatial order. So what would be my like my approach to that spatial order? How should I react on getting some special order? So this is, I can say, a very good topic to start the decision making. So we'll start with the spatial order decision only. Okay. And the next decision is product mix decision. So basically, I am making three products. What should be the mix? Like, uh, due to some reason, I cannot make the full all these three products. So what in what ratio I should make all those products? So this would be the product mix decision. This Like product mix decision is really good. I mean, when we'll read this, it would be really interesting decision. Okay, so today we are starting with, as I told you, with spatial order decision. So I think we should start with the question only, but before going to question, let's understand the thing once. So I'm briefly analyzing the spatial order because things would be clear to you with the question only. Spatial order. Now, after understanding the things, we'll do questions from both CA final as well as CMA final material. I told you in the last lecture as well why doing question from both the materials are important. Okay, so what basically spatial order decision is, what we do in the spatial order decision. So suppose I am the example of the mobile phone and calculator is really important. So basically calculator was a spatial order for me. Okay. In my regular course of business, which is making the mobile, if I'm getting an order of making calculator, it would be a special order for me because I do not really get that order, the order of making calculator on day-to-day basis. I usually get the disease like order of making mobile phone only. But since like if today I am getting an order of making calculator, I need to think specifically just for the purpose of calculator whether it would be beneficial for me or not. Okay, so what we need to do in case any spatial order decision, if I'm getting any spatial order, what would be my approach to the spatial order? So my approach would be like I'll see the revenue part on the spatial order firstly. So I'll see what I am getting out of the spatial order. The second thing I would see what would be my incremental cost, relevant cost or incremental cost to that spatial order. I hope you guys know what is the relevant cost. Okay, so we will just take in account the relevant cost related to the spatial order. Okay, not all the costs, only relevant costs related to spatial order. So definitely in relevant cost, the variable cost would be there and relevant fixed cost would be there. Relevant fixed cost, I can say, like purchasing of some specific machinery just for the purpose of order, and we would resell that machinery after the completion of order. So that would be a spatial order decision. So we specifically need to think for the purpose of order whether we should accept it or not. We should first analyze the revenue. What would be my incremental revenue just because of this order? Second thing, what would be my relevant incremental cost just because of this order? Then we will analyze the things. And at the end, we will see whether the revenue is more than the cost or not. If my revenue is more than the cost, definitely we can accept it. If my revenue is less than the cost, we can reject it. And my revenue is equal to the cost, then we will see other factors as well, like whether accepting this order would be somewhere beneficial for other things or not. Like how would I say other things? Suppose it would be somewhere subjective things, but I am just giving you an example. Like suppose I got an order from of making the calculator. Okay, but that person who is giving me the order of making calculator, he also has the business of making mobile phones, or I would not say making mobile phone, I would say selling the mobile phone. So if I complete the order of making the calculator in a good way, and if I am able to impress the person with my quality, I would there is somewhere chances of getting an order of mobile phone also from that person. And if I get an order from mobile phone from that person, it would be really beneficial for me. So suppose this type of things is there, like this would definitely be subjective thing and nowhere going to help you in the question and in the exam. But in real life scenario, this type of thing could be there. Like suppose I'm getting no profit, I'm at no profit or no loss situation. I'm having zero profit if I accept the order of making calculator. Okay, or I am having some certain amount of revenue, some little amount of I can say loss, sorry, loss. If I'm having a little amount of loss or I'm having no profit and no loss, in that case, if I am having certain other benefits just because of accepting the order, It would be subjective, I'm again saying, but I would analyze, I would take in account those things as well, whether I should accept it or not. Like if I accept it, it would be beneficial to me in the future as well, it would somewhere be beneficial for my business, so I will take decision on the basis of that. So basically this is the spatial order decision. Okay, so let's see the question. Let's see the question first from CMA final material related to spatial order decision. Okay, so just a second, wait for a second guys. So let's see the question related to spatial order from CMA final material first. So yeah, question number 2 is here related to spatial order decision. So evaluation of order. I don't think this is clear. I mean, I hope you are able to see it clearly. So illustration number 2, evaluation of order. A company currently operating at 80% of the capacity, okay, and has the following profitability particulars. So basically the data related to profitability is given to us. We are given the figure of sales, which is 12 lakh 80,000. The cost, I can say the direct material cost, which is 4 lakh, direct labor cost, which is 1 lakh 60,000, the variable cost, which is 80,000, the fixed overhead, which is 5 lakh 20,000, and the total cost is basically 11 lakh 60,000, and the profit is 1 lakh 20,000. So all these data are given to us. Now we are receiving a spatial order. An export order has been received that would utilize half of the capacity of factory. It would utilize half of the capacity of factory. So basically we are currently working at 80% capacity, and it is saying that export order will use half of the capacity of factory. Okay, the order has either to be accepted in full or and executed at 10% below the normal domestic price. So normal domestic price, whatever the normal domestic price is, we need to work on that 10% below the normal domestic price. Okay, or you can reject it totally. So either you accept the complete, or I can say half of the capacity in full, like complete half of the capacity, or reject it in full. Like since we are having only 20% capacity left in our current day-to-day business, I am not able to work only on those 20% for the export order. I need to work 50% complete for the export order. Okay, the alternative available to management are as below. Either you can reject the order and continue with the domestic sale, okay, which you are doing currently. The second thing which is available to the management is that you can accept the order, split capacity equally between the overseas and domestic sale. So if you accept it, you need to devote 50% of the capacity for the export order and 50% balance you can use for the purpose of domestic. Okay. Okay. And turn away excess domestic demand. Okay. So basically, the balance 30% of the domestic demand, which we are not able to fulfill just because of we are accepting the export order. So you need to give away that excess demand of 30% for the domestic product. Okay. And the third option, which is available to you, is that increase capacity. You need to increase the capacity. So currently my capacity is suppose 100%. So and definitely I need 130% capacity. Why 130%? Because 80% I am currently using for my domestic sale, and I require 50% capacity for the export sale. So in total I require 30%, 130% capacity. So I need to increase my capacity basically. So my current capacity is 100%. I require 130%. So the balance 30%, I need to increase it. I need to increase the capacity. And how can I increase the capacity? Buy an additional equipment with increased capacity, which will increase the capacity by 10%, and the fixed cost would be 40,000. Okay. So first option is this. Basically, first thing is this: if you wanted to increase the capacity, firstly you need to buy some of the equipment, I can say. Okay. The second option which is available to you is that work, basically for balance 20%, the work overtime at 1.5 of the normal rate to meet the balance of the required capacity. So you need to work overtime at 1.5, basically I can say 1.5 rate more than the current capacity. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to prepare a comparative statement. So let's see it. So illustration 2 from CMA final. So let's see all these three options separately. So my option 1 is only domestic sale. Whatever you are doing currently, just continue with that. So my sale would be, just see from your book, what is my current data. My current data is my sale is 12 lakh 80,000, 12 lakh 80,000. My variable overhead is material 4 lakh, labor 1 lakh 60,000, and variable overhead, which is 80,000. Now my fixed overhead, which is 5 lakh 20,000. So my profit is 1 lakh 20,000. It is given to us basically. Okay. So first option is this, like we can continue with whatever we are doing currently. Okay. Now the second thing, just a second, just a second. There is some technical issue. Just wait for a second. So yes, now I hope you are able to see it again. So the option 2. What is the option 2 basically given to us? The option 2 given to us is that 50% of the domestic you need to take and 50% for export. 50% domestic and 50% export. So just see once what is my total capacity. So basically 12 like 80,000 denotes my 80% capacity. Okay, it's specifically given to us that 12 like 80,000, just a second, 12 like 80,000 is my 80% capacity. So what would be my full capacity? My full capacity would be 60 lakh. So I can say full capacity is 12 lakh 80,000. If it is 80% capacity, what would be my full? It would be 16 lakh. Okay. Now I need to divide 50% for the domestic and 50% for the export. Okay. So what would be my sale? My sale would be for domestic and export. For domestic, it would be 50%. So I can say 8 lakh. And for export, it would be 720. Why 720? 90% of 8 lakh. So I can say 15 lakh 20,000 would be my sale. Correct. Now, what would be my variable cost? I can say for material, if 4 lakh denotes to 80%, the full amount would be 5 lakh. Correct. For labor, if 160 is 80%, if 160 is 80%, the full amount would be 2 lakh. And for other variable overhead, if 80,000, it's 80%. So what would be full? The full would be 1 lakh. And the fixed overhead would be 520. The fixed overhead would be 5 lakh 20,000. So see the amount of profit. The profit would be, just calculate once, 1520 minus 527, 8 lakh, 720 minus 520. I can say 2 lakh. So the profit here is 2 lakh. Now, what is the third option available to you? Option 3 is increase the capacity. I need to increase my capacity. So what would be sale amount if I increase the capacity? So for domestic, I can say 80% would be there, and for export, the 50% capacity would be there. So I can say I am working on total 130% capacity. Okay, so 12 lakh 80,000 for domestic and 7 lakh 20,000 for export. So total would be 20 lakh sale. Correct. Now what would be the variable cost? So material cost, it would be uh, if 4 lakh denote to 80%, then what would be for 1.3? Because we are working on 130% capacity. For labor, if 160 denote to 80%, what would be 1.3? For variable overhead, if how much? 80%, 80,000, sorry. 80,000 denote to 80%, what would be 1.3? And the overhead premium. So basically, here it would be 5 lakh, I can say 650, 6 lakh 50,000. Here it would be 260, 2 lakh 60,000. Here it would be 1 lakh 30,000. And what is said about overhead premium? It is saying that work overtime, work overtime at 1.5 of the normal rate. So basically 1.5 of the normal rate. Okay, so for 30%, 1.5 of the normal rate to meet the balance of the required capacity. So basically for meeting 30%, what how much we require to do? The overhead premium would be 20,000 simply. Okay. Now what would be the fixed overhead? The fixed overhead is 520 earlier plus 40,000. So it would be 5 lakh 60,000. See the profit, calculate it. 20 lakh minus 6 lakh 50,000 minus 2 lakh 60,000 minus 1 lakh 30,000 minus 5 lakh 80,000. It is coming to 3 lakh 80,000. So just see here that in first option I am getting 120 profit, in second option 2 lakh, and in third option I'm getting 3 lakh 80,000 profit. So I can say the best option is option 3, or increase the capacity. So this was one question related to spatial order decision, where we took a decision whether we should accept in specific order or we should not accept the order. Just a second. Okay. So option 3 is best. Increase the capacity. So this option is best. So this is the answer. I hope you got the things, whatever we have done. Okay. So basically, in this question, we have seen that we received an special export order. We decided whether we should go ahead with this or not. And if we need to go ahead with this, if we should go ahead with this, what would be the best option out of all those options given to us? So we decided as per that. So this was the question 2 from CMA material. Now there's one illustration is in CMA material as well. So let's see that question. Now this question is really good. Okay. So BNZ Limited is engaged in manufacturing the plastic bottle of a standard size and produced by the joint process of machine. The factory has total 5 machine and capable of producing 40 bottles per hour. The variable cost per bottle is 32 paisa and the selling price is 80 paisa each. Okay, so this is given to us. The company has received an order from another company to manufacture 40,000 units of the plastic molded toy. Okay, the price per toy is 30 rupees and the variable cost is 24 rupees. In case the company take up the job, it has to meet an expenses of making the special special mold required for manufacturing of the toy. It would cost 1 lakh rupees. Okay, companies time study analysis show that the machine can produce only 16 toy per hour. So toy can be manufactured 16 per hour and bottle can be manufactured 40 per hour. Okay, the company has total capacity of 10,000 hours during the period in which toy is required to be manufactured. The fixed cost excluding the cost of construction of molding is 10 lakh rupees given to us. Okay, the company has an order of supply of 3 lakh bottle. So basically I need to fulfill 3 lakh bottle supply and 1 lakh mold supply, and I am having 10,000 hours of machine only. So basically limiting factor is the machinery because it is in limitation to us. So we need to see which order is best to accept, whether we should go ahead with the bottle order or we should go with the this toy order. So let's see the question number first. I hope this is saying the same thing. Do you advise the company to take up the order of manufacturing plastic molded toy during the time when it has an order in its book for the supply of 3 lakh bottle? Okay, so let's see the first part. Illustration number 8. Illustration 8. CA final study material. So this is illustration 1 from illustration 8 from CA final study material. Okay, so part 1. It is asking whether we should go ahead with toy along with the bottle or not. So basically just see once time required to make toy. So basically I am having I need to make how many 40,000 toys. Okay, I need to make 40,000 toys and in 1 hour 16 toy can be made. 16 toy per hour. Okay, so calculate once how many hours would be taken to manufacture 40,000 toy. Basically 40,000 divided by 16, it would be 2,500 hours. 2,500 hours. Okay, now see time required to make bottles. So basically I need to make 3 lakh bottles and one bottle require 40 bottle per hour. Okay, so basically in 1 hour I can make 40 bottles. So how many hours would be required to make 3 lakh bottle? It would be 7,500 hours. I'm sorry. So basically in total I require 10,000 hours and I am having 10,000 hours. Okay, and time available is also sorry, is also 10,000 hours. So basically time is not a constraint in this question. Okay, so let's analyze what would be the profitability if we accept both the order. So for bottle and for toy, I can say sale price. The sale price for the bottle, I can say for 3 lakh bottle, it would be 80 paisa. It would be 80 paisa. And for toy, it would be 30 rupees. Okay. So how much it is? It would be 2,40,000. It would be 12 lakh. The variable cost, what would be the amount of variable cost? Just see. It would be 3 lakh multiplied by 0.32. I think it is 32 paisa, and 40,000 multiplied by 24, 9,60,000, and it would be 96,000. Contribution. So contribution here would be, I can say 2,44,000, and 2,40,000. Sorry, 1,44,000, and 2,40,000. Okay. So what we need to calculate, uh, whether we are advising to make the specific the toy along with the bottles. So specific fixed cost, there is no specific fixed cost associated with the bottle. Just see that we are given the total fixed cost of the company for complete construction is 10 lakh, but there is no specific fixed cost associated with making of bottle. But there is one fixed cost specifically related to making of toy, which is 1 lakh rupee modular cost. So profit would be profit specific item. It would be 1,40,000 for the bottle, sorry, for the toy, and 1,44,000 for the bottles. So out of by selling the complete 3 lakh bottle, I would be able to make how many? 1,44,000. I can say rupees. Okay, by selling 3 lakh bottles, I am able to make 1,44,000 rupees. By selling 40,000 toys, I am able to make how many? 1,40,000 rupees. Okay. Just check one thing. Since we are given that the limitation factor is the machine hour, or let's okay, but since in this but specific part, the machine hour is not limited, because we are making exactly which is available to us. Like we are not crossing the limit of like we are not going anywhere additionally than the machine hour. Basically, the time available to us is 10,000 hours, and we are completely utilizing 10,000 hours. Okay, so this is the thing. Since we are getting profit out of both, so yes, it is profitable to make bottle and toy both. Okay, now see part 2. Sorry, see the part 2. What is the second question? If the order for supply of bottle increase to 4 lakh bottles instead of 3 lakh, now I need to supply 4 lakh bottles, will you advise the company to accept the order for the supply of plastic molded toys? Specify the reason. So if I am getting an order of like instead of 3 lakh bottles, I am having the uh, order of 4 lakh bottles, whether I should go ahead with the toy or not. So just see once, time required now for bottle, what would be the time required? I can say for 4 lakh in 1 hour, I can make 40 bottles. So totally I require 10,000 hours. And for toy, I can say it would still be the same. For 40,000 toys, I require 16 hours. So I can say 2,500 hours. So total time required to me is 12,500 hours. But sorry, time available is 10,000 hours only. Now, this is the real challenging scenario where like time available to us is lesser than the time required. So what option is available to me? Either I accept this, either I accept only bottle, or I go ahead as I was doing earlier, like making the bottle as well as the toy. Okay, so what would be the best option? So we have already calculated what would, so basically, let me write option one, accept bottle only. Because if I accept bottle only, it would take me 10,000 hours. And option two is accept 3 lakh bottle and 40,000 toy. So this scenario, basically, this scenario which we have already done. So if I go ahead with this, the profit, the total profit would be 2 lakh 84,000. Correct. And if I specifically go only with bottle, if I specifically go only with the bottle, what would be my profit now? Profit for option one. Profit for option one. Now, what would be the profit? I can say sale would be uh, 4 lakh multiplied by 0.8. I can say 3 lakh 20,000. The variable cost would be 40,000 multiplied by 0.32. I can say 96,000. So the profit would be 2 lakh 24,000. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm having the profit of 2 lakh 24,000. And in the second scenario, I'm having the profit of 2 lakh 84,000. Now, if I do not consider the subjective things, like subjective things, I can say, um, quality or retention of the current customer, these all things are the subjective things. If I do not go ahead with that, I can say that the option two, or I can say accepting 3 lakh bottle and 40,000 toy would be a better option. Okay, so this is the thing. This would be more beneficial. So I can say option two, 3 lakh bottle and 40,000 toy is more beneficial because it is giving us additional contribution of rupee, I think 60,000. It is giving us the additional contribution of 60,000. And since it is giving us the additional contribution of 60,000, it would be more beneficial to us. Now, part 3. What is the third part? An associate company. Just a second. I hope you're able to see this. 1 second. An associate company of BNZ Limited has idle capacity and willing to take up the whole or part of the manufacturing of plastic molded toys on subcontracting basis. If subcontractor price of the cost subcontract price inclusive of the cost of construction of mold is 28 rupee per toy. 28 rupee per toy, determine minimum expected excess machine hour capacity needed to justify uh, producing any portion of toy ordered by the company itself rather than subcontracting. So basically there is it is basically related to subcontracting, or I can say outsourcing decision. But since it is given here, let's do this. So basically we are said that there is one subcontractor who is ready to accept and deliver me the toy at 28 rupees. I'm getting basically 30 rupees from the person, and because 30 rupees the selling price, and basically I need to pay 28 rupees to the person. So determine, it's not asking us whether we should accept it or not. It is saying determine the minimum expected excess machine hour capacity. Minimum expected excess machine hour capacity needed to justify producing any portion of the toy. So basically how many excess hour capacity we require so that we can justify making toys. How can I justify making toys? Like if I'm having profit, out of making the toy rather than outsourcing it. If I make the toy, if I earn profit in making toy rather than outsourcing it, then I can justify that yes, I need to make it. At certain point there would be situation where I should outsource it. Okay, like for some quantity of output, some quantity of toy, I can say I should outsource it. Basically what basically the complete thing is surrounding near the molding cost of 1 lakh rupees, where I'm able to cover the molding cost of 1 lakh. Because you see, the molding cost is the fixed cost. So I need to manufacture minimum that number of toys so that I can cover my fixed cost. And I am able to earn better than outsourcing it. So let's see. You will be able to understand more when we see it. So basically, molding cost, which is fixed, is 1 lakh rupee. Okay. I can say outsource cost is 28. I can say variable cost is 24. So what I can see basically, what I can justify by seeing this figure. I can say, just listen very carefully. I can say I need to make a fixed cost of 1 lakh rupee. I need to make a fixed cost of 1 lakh rupee. If I do not outsource it, I need to make a fixed cost of 1 lakh rupee, but I am spending 4 rupee variable cost lesser than that person. Basically, I am paying 4 rupee lesser than outsourcing. Basically, 28 rupees outsourcing and 24 is the variable cost. So basically, my variable cost is lesser. But I need to make 1 lakh rupee fixed cost. So at what point for how many toys my variable cost, my excessive fixed cost, sorry, my fixed cost would be covered? At what point my fixed cost would be covered? So this is basically a concept of indifference point. Okay, a point where two situations are equal or have no difference. So you can see here that after how many units I would be able to cover my 1 lakh rupee fixed cost. So basically, how would I see this? For 1 lakh rupee is the additional fixed cost which I need to make, but I am having 4 rupees saving, 28 minus 24. So basically, I am having my 4 rupees saving in variable cost, but I need to make 1 lakh rupee. So after how many units, my variable cost saving would be equal to my fixed cost. So I can say 25,000 units. I hope you understood. Let's see by one more way. At 25,000 units, what would be your variable cost saving? Just calculate. So at 25,000, if I outsource, my cost for 25,000, outsourcing cost basically is 28. So my outsourcing cost for 25,000 is 25,000 multiplied by 28. If I make it, my cost would be 25,000 multiplied by 24, which is the variable cost, plus 1 lakh, which is my fixed cost. If I make 25,000 and if I outsource it, then it would be 25,000 multiplied by 28. Just calculate it once. 25,000 multiplied by 28 is coming 7 lakh. And 25,000 multiplied by 24 is coming 6 lakh plus 1 lakh. So it would be 7 lakh. So I can say for 25,000 units, my situation for outsourcing and for making the product would be equal. My cost of outsourcing and cost of making would be equal. Now, what would be the situation if I, produce below 25,000? If I produce below 25,000, what would be my situation? Just see once. Below 25,000, my outsourcing cost would be better. Why? Because 1 lakh rupee is basically 1 lakh rupee of making additional fixed cost of making the toy is covered at 25. Below 25, basically my variable cost saving is lesser and my fixed cost is more. Suppose I take an example. It is just an example. Okay, I should write it in right. At 24,000, at 25,000, at 24,000. I am just, writing these figures to make you understand. So at 24,000, what would be my outsource cost? It would be this. And what would be my making cost? It would be 24,000 multiplied by 24 plus 1 lakh. Fixed cost would be same. Just calculate once. I am saying that below 25,000, the outsourcing would be cheaper for you. Just calculate once. So for 20,000, 24,000 multiplied by 28, it is coming 6,72,000. And for 24,000 multiplied by 24, it is 6,76,000. So I'm saying this is cheaper. So what can I conclude with this 25,000? Basically, the question is asking me, let's write first what question is asking, then we'll do all these experiments. So what question is asking? Question is asking me to calculate specific hours after which, making would be beneficial. So, for hours required for making 25,000 toy. What is hours required? 25,000 divided by 16. I hope you guys know that for making in 1 hour, you can make 16 toys. So just calculate it once. 25,000 divided by 16, it would be 1562.5. 1562.5 hours. So basically you require 1562.5 hours, or I can say 1563 hours. Okay. To after if you are spending more than 1563 hours, then it would be beneficial to make the toy. If you are spending less than 1563 hours, it would be beneficial to outsource. Now, okay, now what conclusion I can draw? I can draw a conclusion if I'm making basically less than 25,000, I need to outsource it. At 25,000, I need to either outsource or make, or more than 25,000, I need to make it, because this would be the best beneficial situation. Answer. I hope you guys understood all the concepts, everything, like both the questions which we have done today. So these two questions were related to the specific spatial order decision. I hope you guys understood the things. There might be some more questions as well related to spatial order decision. Uh, Probably we will do those questions. I mean, some of those questions after completion of the complete topic of this, I can say, this decision making, like after completing all the 6 decision making concepts, we'll do those questions. Okay, so I hope you understood these two questions. So this is all from my side for the day. For in the next lecture, we'll do another like topic of decision making, like either outsource or make and buy or something like that. So guys, uh, this is all from my side. Have a very nice day. Have a very good care of yourself. Bye bye.